All right, let's get started. Okay. Hey, everybody, it's Friday. No, you can't go anywhere. Hey, no, you can't. You got to stay here. I need a guest. I need a guest to be here with me. Yeah, you gotta stick around. No, don't you want to stick around? Hmm. You get ear scritches if you stay. I mean, you get paid in ear scritches. What's not to love? No, you're not a fan. No. All right. Well, if you want to get down, you can. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna make you stay where you don't want to stay. Okay. Hey everybody, it is Brian. It's Friday. I have my mama kitty with me, and oh no, I had mama kitty with me. She decided she wants to scoot out. I'm gonna have to blur out the booty when she drops down later on, but we'll make that happen. Um, Thank you to everybody who came to the stream on Tuesday. We're trying something new with the team. Yeah, I'm always a fan of trying new things when they are good. Um, we are, trying out the Tuesday thing, right? Last week or last Tuesday, I think was very good. I am hoping next Tuesday will be just as good. Um, and yeah, we actually have some stuff today that actually didn't make it to the stream because of the amount of time needed to get that done. And I only have about an hour today, so I've got to go make dinner about 4:30 my time, which is about 45 minutes away. So let everybody manage expectations here. Oh, I would like to thank because we've had a ton of new people. Let me see. Satar NZ followed. Digital Warhead resubscribed to Tier 1. Appreciate you, sir. Um, nope, that was it. Okay, so we had a couple new followers and a couple of subscribers. I don't make money off the stream. I don't have, I don't, what do they call that? I don't shill for NordVPN or whatever. So if you're finding value, if I make you laugh, if you enjoy seeing my cat, or you just like the interaction that I have with you. Somebody actually mentioned the other day that they love the conversational tone that I have here with the people on that join on the streams. If you're a lurker and you feel like you can't add anything to the stream, I assure you you can. There's the bar is very low because sometimes I feel like I don't add much to the discussion anyway. So feel free to continue lurking if you'd like, or if you ask a question if you have a question. There are no dumb questions. There are only people who don't you know don't want to necessarily be informed, or we'll need to find that out. So ask your questions. It is a safe zone for that to be able to ask those questions if you're unaware. God knows I do that enough at work. Sometimes it's because I don't know the answer. Sometimes it's because I want to answer or ask a leading question to get people to where that is. My wife taught me about that. Asking the leading questions. It's like, well, what happens if you decide not to hold your breath underwater? Can you breathe underwater? Is that a thing you can do? And then you get people to think, right? So there's that. Anywho, hey Walt, how you doing? How you doing? Glad to see you. So yeah, we had a couple of things. It works. Okay, my browser works. It actually survived a reboot. So there were a number of items that we didn't get to for the news last Tuesday that I thought we had in the list of things to talk about, but didn't get to. And this one kind of got, I don't want to say lost in the shuffle, but this one was like last Friday ish. And then Monday, the outage with the AWS happened. So there we go. This kind of got lost in the shuffle. And I was going to talk about this on Tuesday and Sunday with Ms. Berlin, Mr. Betcher, but this didn't come up. So the F5, the company that makes not endpoints. Well, they do have an endpoint security solution, I'm sure, but they do infrastructure, right? Firewalls, routers, etc. Completely owned. Their supply chain was hacked. They suggest that it's endangering more than 600,000 internet connected devices. There's the story written by Cybersecurity Dive, probably borrowed by them by some other organization. Um, they suggest that 600,000 F5 network security devices are running Big IP, which is the software that you can use to. There you go. They're sitting unpatched on the internet one day being now a week after the company revealed a nation state hacker had accessed its networks and source code. So somehow, nation state, they say nation state. I'm going to say bad actors because we don't know who had done it or why yet. Maybe the article will tell us. They suggest that that's the case. So got their source code, which means they got access to the repos internally, at least. Get cloned. The idea now is that if you are running F5 kit, the bad guys now have access to your software. One second. This is not the first time that like a major source code breach has occurred. I'm going to get the other link here. So for those of you who were around in 2017, something similar happened to a little known mom and pop shop called Microsoft that had their internal Windows operating system builds and a chunk of its core source code leaked online. So they lost 32 terabytes of data. And official and non-public installation images, software blueprints compressed down to 8 terabytes were uploaded to a place called Beta Archive. So this is not a new thing that has occurred. You have major breaches like this all the time. Well, I mean, major breaches like this when people gather source. Um, the F5 is based out of Seattle. You are correct, Walt. Along with Microsoft, they're in Redmond, which is a suburb or an outside area outside of Seattle. So they okay. Now it decides it wants to cycle through tabs. Um, I think the interesting thing is, what are people who run F5 doing to mitigate this? There's not much you can do right now because we know they have the source code, and depending on what the bug per line average is that an F5 developing team creates. So if you assume, let's be generous and say a bug per 20 lines of code. I don't know if that's generous. Walt, is a bug per 20 lines of code considered good or bad? I'll leave that to simmer a bit. And let's say there's 1 million lines of code. So there could be a good number of bugs that haven't been discovered internally, but because bad guys are way more efficient than corporate people are, because they don't have to deal with things like meetings, like your blue team or your scanning teams or your SAS team. They're going to find bugs and they're going to find O-Day. So, wh- what? You're you're interrupting me. Yeah, you can get up here. You didn't have to leave the first place. Come on, there you go. You can get back up here. Seriously. See, funny thing is now my camera's not on. I can't see myself. Um, oh, that's because just me in a browser. There you go. Get your butt out. Get your butt out of here. Yeah, get your butt out. Anyway, so what do you do if a company that you use, their kit, has had their source code leaked? There's not much you really can do, I don't think, because you're just waiting for the O days that are going to come out, or your threat intelligence feeds are going to, you know. I would say that as a blue team, there might be ways that you could do things like minimize your footprint by removing interfaces that you don't need. I mean, that is what I would say for anybody running any kind of kit, whether or not it's Cisco or Fortinet or whatever. The fact that people still think they need to have their admin um, panels and things exposed to the internet is laughable in 2025. So, according to the Shadow Server Foundation, because I guess they didn't, this organization did not buy a Shodan account. 130,000 F5 devices on the internet right now in the U.S., with China, Japan, and Germany accounting for 10,000 more devices. The U.S. accounts for half of the internet accessible F5 devices that Shadow Server identified. They say they believe. um, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where the 600,000 is coming from. Maybe that's just the number that they found are um, available or internet accessible. They may have found some others that could be. They just want to kind of give it a round number. I think the 600,000 may be for shock value, or numbers that PR has suggested that's how many devices that exist. And 130,000 may be the only ones that are connected directly to the internet. You may use F5s internally. You may use them in a DMZ situation. You may use them, in other places inside your network you may use them for VPN, that kind of thing. So the the bigger issue, I don't know if they mentioned if they're patched or not. It just says they have them available. If you haven't patched your F5 boxes, I would say patch them with whatever latest version exists. Some companies are not able to patch their F5 devices as quickly as some would like. Uh, I think that not all bugs are security bugs. Not all security bugs allow for RCE or takeover. You're absolutely right, Walt. I stand corrected there. Hopefully, they use defense in depth and secure code practices. Hopefully. Um, Walt, I want to believe that, but considering how many, I mean, I don't know how many. Let me see. How many Cisco issues have shown up in the past month? I'm not saying they're equivalent, but we see examples of, well, okay, so far we've been doing okay. It's been a quiet month for Cisco, but usually when an F5 vulnerability or something comes out, actually we can go look at F5. I would say that they're not having a good week either. So here's so as of the 15th of October on the emergency directives list. I actually did see this article, or this mentioned that DHS, which whether or not you believe that they're actually doing any good work, they're going to inventory all their big IP products and evaluate if the network management interfaces are accessible from the public internet and apply updates from F5, which is what most organizations should be doing right now, especially if your network management interface systems are accessible from the public internet. One, they shouldn't be. The government is even worried enough about this. Whatever government we have is saying, hey, they've assessed these conditions that pose an unacceptable risk to agencies and necessitate immediate emergency action involving the following F5 products. So big IP, I series, R series, and any other F5 device that has reached end of support. So if your stuff is old, you've got a different issue. But anything running big IP CMOS, virtual editions, big IP Next, big IQ, big IP Next for Kubernetes, and cloud native network functions. Required. Yeah. So this is interesting because it could be a nice way of working your own organization. Harden all of your stuff, harden public facing big IP devices. If you are using, if you have a legitimate reason for these interfaces to be open for, say, third party management or what have you, this might be a good time to go to your organization and say their source code's been leaked. So bad guys are going to be able to find vulnerabilities probably faster than the good guys will, or F5 in this case. I would expect CISA and other similar ZDI and other places like this to um, get wind of potential vulnerabilities for F5 devices. So it's going to be an interesting 3 to 4 months as these things start falling out. And of course, they can be stringing us along for years. So somebody at F5 is hopefully, maybe going through and doing a couple of extra scans, looking at what might have been done in the last, 6 months or so, because I would say change logs or whatever would, want to be the things that you want to look at. Um, I would hope that there's going to be some change with F5 going from here on, where they're taking a look at this. I would love to understand what would happen when you have your source code leaked. I don't remember much fallout from the Windows 10 stuff that happened in 2017. Uh, you know, they suggest added source kit. Um, so I mean, they pushed Microsoft pushed out monthly updates on the reg for a while, but yeah, I mean, this would be no different than, having an F5 device as a bad guy and they send out an update every X number of days or whatever. You're going to reverse engineer those patches anyway to see what the difference is between the version you have, version 5 and version 6. You're going to do a diff. You're going to find out, oh, this area or this binary's changed. This binary's changed. What's different about this binary? Oh, they did this. Oh, okay, there's a buffer overflow here. Um, when Patch Tuesday come out, it would have been like, they called it Malicious Wednesday or something like that, where it was like all the vulnerabilities that bad guys can find because you can turn that around so much quicker. Um, in this case, you should expect, I would expect that you would want to patch quickly or have something when F5 comes knocking again saying, hey, here's an O day, bad guy found this. Could or could not be possible that it's based on the fact that source code got leaked. So, potential impact of this compromise is unique due to the theft of confidential information regarding previously undisclosed vulnerabilities that F5 was in the process of patching. Sure. This data potentially grants threat actors the capability or capacity to exploit vulnerabilities for which no public patch exists and could accelerate the creation of exploits. Exactly. Um, yeah, so whoever stole it is, looking pretty good to their bad guy friends. Do bad guys have friends? Maybe. Um, but yeah, I mean, this would be just like Cisco having the same issue, except, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And unfortunately, it looks like the firm's share price dropped 12% after it announced the breach, although the company said in a regulatory filing the incident has not had a material impact on the company's operations. Why? Well, not right now, right? It's not like some company is, oh, you got breached. I'm going to immediately rip out everything that I have with F5 on it, and I'm going to replace it with Fortinet or whatever. Could just as easily you rip out everything, replace it with Cisco kit, and then Cisco gets their source code owned, and then you've spent $500,000 or how much ever your IT budget replacing a bunch of F5 kit with stuff that's probably just as will have different issues, but it's same kit. So um, I don't think they're going to see much in damage of or material impact on the company's operations in the near term. Maybe when as things it's going to be kind of I would say slow attrition kind of thing. So in 2 years you're up for kit, and it's like, do we really want to continue with F5? Well, they did have their source code removed. Yeah, that was 2 years ago. Maybe they found all the bugs or whatever. Okay, we're just going to re-up our buy new stuff or buy new kits. um, F5 may offer discounts to people. This is one reason why I don't consider material impact as being something that we can hawk as security people to our companies. Oh, you're gonna yes, F5 has lost 12% of their price. Let's see F5. It's still going down. So, it's a bit of a fire sale right now. If you wanted to, let's see, in the last 5 days, let's see. So they were trading on October. Wait, so wait a minute. When did this happen? When did this happen? They said the 17th, but it could have happened before that. So 17th. There we go. Okay, so yeah, here's the 16th. So it was noted on the 16th, 17th. So it's trading down from what it was. 330 down to 330, 295, and then it's been slowly going back up. 298, 290. Get a bit of a fire sale right now. I would say it's down about. It still hasn't come back down, come back up from its previous. But you know, everybody's about to report earnings. So fourth quarter pegged at 396. Okay. So, no, no. Oh, FFIV. Okay, so FFIV is interesting. F5 is actually F4, which doesn't make any sense. Um, anyway, we may see a bump at the end of the month with when they report the earnings. The breach is definitely going to be something that's going to cause them issues. But if they make their earnings, they're going to probably see that jump back up. So, if they wanted to, yeah, 27th. So that's on Tuesday or whatever. So or Monday. Uh, you'll probably see a bump in price because of that once you go, and to be fair, let's see, from a year ago, you look at they went from 160 starting in 2025. They're still way above their normal of what they were a year ago this time. So, um, yeah, it's a blip. I mean, you see there's a bigger drop here from that time all the way down. So from February 15th to April, they dropped quite a bit. So I don't know if the breach is actually going to cause them any issues in the near term. The fact that they're so close to their earnings, if they beat their earnings estimates, they could probably see a 5 or 6% jump on their stock. So, um, long story short, it's not. I don't see much happening to F5 because of this. It would be nice if they could see some kind of remuneration or damage, some kind of penalty for this, but they're not really going to see much in this case. What can you do as a person or company that uses F5? Like I said, reduce your footprint, reduce any, patch with whatever is the latest version of patches if you haven't patched in a while. Uh, you might want to do a little hardening, something beyond whatever is suggested by the team. Look at your uh, keep a track of your logs. Keep track of what is normal on your F5s. If you see anything odd going on, let your MSSPs know what's up. They're probably aware of it as well. But just know what your traffic looks like, and if you start seeing any weird access on your F5s or your MSSP notice anything on your F5s, you might need to pull a nuclear option and shut down the connections and stuff to that. So, but yeah, it's rough to have a. I'm sure we'll hear more about that with regards to the. There we go. So you can take a look at that. Um, Wonder why chat's not working. That's weird. Um, but yeah, so oh yeah, I'll put the Reg article for Windows 10. I remember when that one happened in 2017. That was kind of a big deal. Uh, there we go. Yeah, I mean I mean they basically lost the crown jewels, right? Except for the hardware, and they could find says there's no evidence hacker had compromised its source code despite having access to those systems and data. But I'm not exactly sure why there's several vulnerabilities hackers discovered breaching its networks. I'm wondering how they got access to that stuff. Uh, so So wait, the company revealed the nation state hackers access its network source code, but then you go down here at the bottom where they said F5 now says there was no evidence the hackers had compromised its source code or software production processes despite having access to the system and data. Well, which one is it? Why would they have filed something? Let's read what they it says. Company responded. So they stole customer data. They had access to sensitive F5 systems, but they didn't steal the source code. But they had access to the source code and systems. That doesn't make any damn sense. There's a lot of double talk here in the discussion. Um, highly sophisticated, whatever. Stole some of the company's files after breaking into its engineering knowledge management systems and the development platform for its big IP platform. Stolen file, contains some of our source code. So it either they did get their source code or none of the source code. As far as it was aware, none of the vulnerabilities consisted of critical flaws or involved remote code execution. F5 also said it was not aware of any active exploitation of undisclosed F5 vulnerabilities. Small percentage of customers had configured some of the files stolen from the knowledge platform contained information about how small percentage of customers had configured their F5 products. Oh, interesting. So, F5 says that the hackers had long-term persistent access to its systems. It said it discovered the attack in August, but did not disclose when it began. F5 spokesman declined to answer questions about the intrusion. Yeah, that was the other thing that got me about the original article. It was like they believed it had kicked the hackers out of its network, is working with the government and experts to further investigate the compromise. So they don't exactly know. They believe they've kicked the hackers out of their networks. Um, there's a lot to unpack here. The more you read about this and the back and forth, that either they did get source code or they didn't. If you're if you've been contacted by F5, maybe some of your config files have now been leaked by if you're one of the small percentage of customers that have had their configurations borrowed. That will be rough. You can help attackers will plan attacks on those organizations. So if you don't have 2FA, if you've got some kind of specific special, maybe you're special to F5, you might need to change how you're doing things, or maybe change your passwords, or if there's any kind of particular tokens or something in that system, you might want to change those. Let me see. What was one of the other ones here? Oh, yes. Read this one here. Um, Okta, their threat intelligence, conducted a large-scale analysis that the Democratic People's Republic of China, or North Korea, worker schemes threatened every industry that hires remote talent. And there's a discussion that they are now moving beyond information technology and finance, healthcare, public administration, and professional services across a growing number of countries. I can definitely understand why some companies are like, yeah, we're no longer allowing remote workers, or we'll allow 3 days a week, but we want to see people in the office. It's stories like this that businesses can use to say, well, we don't trust that our users are actually our employees are actually who they say they are. It sucks. I don't necessarily agree with it, but the technology to falsify interviews is interesting. I had a story that somebody had told me about them hiring IT personnel, and actually it was help. Was it help desk? Maybe it help desk. But the person they interviewed wasn't necessarily the person that showed up on day one, and it wasn't like an AI type of interview. It was just somebody else did the interview for that person. And found out about it and ended up having to let that person go after a week when they realized, oh, this person doesn't have a fucking clue of what's going on. And I mean, it makes sense why some companies would be like, yeah, we want to see everybody in the office because we want to know they are who they thought they were. Um, there we go. Okay. Because it is becoming so easy to just put up an AI screen and be you know hire somebody who looks legitimate. And Steve, who's going to be working in the accounting department, is actually some person who is in the North Korean, helping out in North Korea. And these people will often apply to multiple jobs because they can, and companies are more than willing to hire them. Let me see. 1 in 2 targets were not tech companies, and 1 in 4 were not U.S. firms. So that's interesting. So it's not just the U.S. having the issues; it's companies need to use notary publics. um, yeah, I guess you could do that. Um, that would be an interesting way of doing things. Company picks the notary. Yeah, I mean you could do that. I guess if they wanted to work remote, you could have a local notary go and make sure that they sign all their contracts in person. Uh, I found that particularly annoying when I was buying my house and I did all of my wife and I, we were signing everything with DocuSign, and then we still needed a notary to come by and sign all of those papers again in person. And I was like, what was the point of using DocuSign if I had to, ruin my wrist and arm and whatever, signing my signature to the same docs 100 times. Um, because then they could just make copies of those things in, OCR and electronically make them happen. Um, yeah, so 130 plus identities and thousands of targeted companies. Yeah, they tracked over 130 identities. I think they said, yeah, right here. In order to avoid tipping off the threat actors is how we gain visibility of their activities. Okta is deliberately withholding some details about our research methodology. Um, I'm wondering how much of the information that they're not going to share is, hey, we went through and put a bunch of jobs up, and maybe there were some, I don't say honeypots, but it's honey filings or whatever. So maybe they flooded a bunch of Okta job descriptions, and we're looking for specific things. In fact, the notary validates your government ID is the key point. Oh, that's true, Walt. You're right. And plus, if you're driving to San Diego, like where I live, you're not likely to get on a plane to Pyongyang to find out where Steve, who's going to be working in accounting, lives. Um, I say Steve. You know, um, maybe there is a North Korean named Steve who is working there. I don't know. Notably, there are surface similarities between DPRK IT workers and non-DPRK overemployment workers, such as remote work patterns, financial motivations, deception techniques, and geographic origins. Okta assesses any given identity as DPRK aligned based on a combination of technical indicators, behavioral patterns, and first-hand employer reporting. Okay. Additionally, we anticipate that the 130 identities that Okta Threat Intelligence is tracking reflect only a small sample of the total active IT worker activity. Wow, small sample. Uh, that's amazing. Oh yeah, here's Steve from accounting. Steve right there. Bill, who works over in your IT department. Jenny, who is your head developer. That kind of thing. Rewards for Justice program, the Department of State is offering $5 million for information that leads to the disruption of financial mechanisms of persons engaged. I think the only other problem that we have with the North Korean IT workers thing is them recruiting people in the United States or in countries where they will do laptop muling. So, Steve needs to do work. So he finds somebody who lives with fairly fast internet in Kentucky and says, hey, we'll pay you $5,000 a month. Just take our laptop, hook it up to your internet. That's all you got to do. Oh, and do this one thing that gives them VPN access to to the laptop that you work on, so that they can do work for the business. So it looks like you've been shipped a laptop to a legitimate person in the United States. Uh, that's the other problem. That would be the $5 million to disrupt financial mechanisms or to disrupt the operations there. And I want to say that we've had, where was that? Let's see. IT working at top. Yeah, here you go. Arizona woman sentenced for $17 million information technology worker fraud scheme that generated revenue from North Korea. Yeah, Christina Marie Chapman, 50, Litchfield Park, Arizona, pled guilty February 11th of this year, 2025, to commit wire fraud, aggravated identity theft, and conspiracy to launder monetary instruments. In addition to a 102-month prison term, the ordered Chapman served 3 years of supervised relief, forfeit $284,000 that was to be paid to the North Koreans and pay a judgment. Maybe the dollars right. So she was a money mule in this case, but I think there have been other stories where they, somebody had like 20 or 30 laptops in their house or something, and they were using. Yeah, okay. Oh, there you go. She operated a laptop farm where she received and hosted computers from U.S. companies at her own, deceiving companies into believing the work was being performed in the United States. She shipped 49 laptops and other devices supplied by U.S. companies to overseas locations, including multiple shipments to each city in China on the border with North Korea. Okay. Um, she got sloppy, basically, and they found her. More than 90 laptops seized from Chapman's home following the execution. So that's 90 potential companies, or one company not realizing, hey, we've already shipped 5 laptops to this address, or this PO box, or whatever. Do 5 people work at the same PO box? Say 5 employees. So Chapman got found out. She must have gotten paid well for this, because I would imagine, what, 17, no, it was $17 million. The scheme generated more than $17 million in illicit revenue. She made $285,000. Um, and it could be that she was targeted because, she has a house. She needed money. She was desperate. Looks like there's what is that? Looks like there might actually be like employee badges. Man, there we go. Looks like, now I was gonna say it looks like employee badges up here in this corner, but maybe it's just business swag or something. There's some Linux laptops here I see, or there's a Mac. Is that a MacBook? Nah, surely not. Looks like it. Um, so yeah, either she had them open and running. So each one of these is somebody in North Korea doing bad stuff on company laptop. Looks like somebody's running a Zoom call up here and sharing a screen. Maybe a Monday morning stand up. And it's another Zoom call right here. It looks like another shared screen output there. Yeah, so IT workers are using Zoom in North Korea to do their daily stand-ups with the companies. Mobile notaries come to your house. Yeah, we had a mobile notary come to our house when we bought a house in Texas, and we had a mobile notary come to our house in San Diego when we bought our house in Austin. So yeah, they do that. They travel. Which is helpful because the last notary we used, I think, was at our lawyer's office in San Diego. So, um, but yeah, so I mean, given the current climate, I mean, you say, hey, we want you to take laptops, for us and ship them to this address, and we'll give you $10,000 a month to do so. I mean, that's not chump change. And, you don't have a job, so that's all free and clear, right? So I'm sure they got her on wire fraud, but they probably get her on tax evasion too, I'd imagine. Um, or who knows? Maybe it's a legitimate company and she's an employee and she was just moving the laptops from one place to another. Um, yeah, some bad stuff. Bad stuff. Let's see what else. What else did we have here? Oh, um, so I think we talked about this one a while ago. There's a company called PowerSchool which creates online, you know, like Canvas, or there's online school tools for students or teachers to teach. Came kind of big, for during the pandemic, where they could do things like sharing whiteboards or what have you. Um, and so this PowerSchool was breached in uh, when was it? When was it breached? Let's say. Okay. 19-year-old Matthew D. Lane. from Massachusetts. 4 years in prison, $14 million in restitution for orchestrating a cyber attack on PowerSchool, which is a software provider. 60 million students. Lane and his accomplices used subcontractor credentials that were stolen. Don't know how they got them. Either they found them somewhere or they were, yeah, not sure where they got them. 9.5 million teachers and 62 million students, including social and medical records, and they demanded ransom $2.8 million in Bitcoin. Matthew got sloppy and got arrested. And so the group continued additional extortion attempts on several affected school districts, and he pled guilty to federal cybercrime charges in May. So, yeah, yep. But there's more recently, they tried extorting individual school districts. He has 17 years in prison, but he only got 4. Okay. He's a good boy. Parents probably didn't know what he was doing. He was probably up in his room playing that Fortnite. We don't know what he does. He's a good boy. He fell into a bad element, something, something, something. But he gets to enjoy 4 years of prison. Uh, if he's on good behavior, he'll probably get out in 2.5. So, but he still has to figure out a way to pay $14 million in restitution. So he'll be doing that for the rest of his life. That's one debt you're not going to get excused, I don't think, or expunged in that case. So it's almost like they waited until he was old enough, because who knows when he was doing it. Maybe they tried him as an adult, depending on how long it took them actually to bring him to justice, him and his accomplices. I don't know. It does it. Okay. The Lane and his accomplices. So maybe there's other people who are also going to be serving some time in prison for this. Maybe he got a reduced sentence because he maybe ratted out his accomplices. Don't know. Could just be that maybe he doesn't have any criminal record up until this point, so the judge was like, "Oh, naughty, naughty. We'll give you not 17 years for that." But um, yeah, yeah, good times, good times. This is a Sentinel One blog, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. They put out a weekly thing as well, like talking about news that is of interest or note. So you can go and check that out if you'd like. This was from the 17th of October again. But they have some good threat intelligence related items here. So if you want to go check those out, they have kind of a digest of news. They try to do a good, the bad, and the ugly, but it just always ends up being like ugly and bad. I don't know if this isn't good because yeah, you got rid of one global scam, but there's a bunch more, so it's not like they haven't gotten rid of everything. But let's see here. Oh, pwn2own. pwn2own is was going on for the last 3 days. So they did a 3-day event at pwn2own in Ireland, in Cork, County Cork, which is in the, let's say, yeah, Cork. There you go. Cork is in the southern part of Ireland. I've been to Dublin, lovely place. Uh, Always wanted to see Cork. My wife's family, I think, is his from ancestors were from the Harringtons were from County Cork in that area. Would love to get down to Cork at some point in the future. But yeah, anyway, so they did their pwn2own. Where is it? No, that's not it. I lost it. Oh, there it is. So looks like Master of Pwn summoning team made $187,500 and 22 points on their leaderboard. So this is like an event where they still have where they have event they have Synology and QNAP on there. I don't think they had a full list of things. The next event's going to be in Tokyo in January of 2026 for automotive stuff. So they had several lists of things. So they had QNAP TS5453E. They had Philips Hue Bridge, a lot of vulnerabilities for Philips Hue Bridge. So if you have IoT lights for Philips Hue Bridge or anything like that, you could run into some issues. They had Amazon smart plugs as well. Um, they had a, well, see, the Sidecraft technology has withdrawn their attempt against smart plugs. I don't know how the format for this is. They don't have a list of things either for this. So let me see. Let's see. Here's day one. Oh, full schedule. Okay, let's see if they had a list here. So yeah, they had QNAP stuff. They had printers, so like HP DeskJets. They had Canon Image Class, CDWs, Synology B stations, NASs, um, Home Assistant Green in the smart home category. They had Canon. Yeah, there's another Canon. Synology disk stations. So they had a list of items, looks like, and you could decide when you were going to attempt to target those things to get um, money and points. And it seems to be like a you gain points, kind of like for bug bounty programs and stuff, where you can get points to win like teams, like capture the flag kind of stuff. Philips Hue Bridge, Star Labs, Sonos Era 300 and smart home category. So these all represent vulnerabilities that have been found by these teams in varying levels of severity. So if any of these companies like Canon or HP or Synology or QNAP have a bug bounty program or responsible disclosure, it's suggested that these will be shared with at some point with those teams. Um, so you see the list of you know published advisories that have come out from ZDI, which I tend to follow because you never know what they're going to have on here. They do have an RSS feed if you'd like to, they have upcoming and published, so you can go see what's upcoming. They tell you which vendors, but they won't tell you specifically what they are until they've had a chance to be shared in some way with that company. So you see Netgate, MLflow, Foxit, which is a PDF reader or what have you, Hugging Face, which is an AI model, Microsoft, of course, Fortinet. So here's a Fortinet from October 10th. So these represent potential O days or vulnerabilities that need to be shared with those companies. Companies will take those in, uh, fix the issue hopefully within a timely frame. Because if they don't, I'm guessing ZDI will publish that. So Fortinet has until February 7th of 2026 before the deadline is hit, and they end up getting that shared. Um, so what you see is the stuff that's been published. This is a list of all publicly disclosed vulnerabilities discovered by ZD researchers while the affected vendors working on a patch for these. Trend Micro customers are protected from exploitation by security filters ahead of public disclosure. So Trend Micro creates filters potentially in some way. Um, but yeah, so there's they keep finding interesting things every day. See, this is the full. Oh, this is the full. Okay, so this is everything, right? This is up to the minute. So that, yeah, Thursday 1700, MetaQuest 35, no interaction, LPE, local privilege escalation, self jailbreak in the wearables category. All right. So if you have one of those, know that there's a local privilege escalation that will be coming out that will need to be patched. QNAP got hit pretty hard here. It looks like a lot of money being thrown around. $40,000, $40,000, $30,000, $40,000, $40,000. It's not cheap. I think the cheapest I've seen is what, let's see, 2040. I want to say that it was like a $10,000 one, but yeah, everything's in the 40 to or 20 to $50,000 range for these findings. So um, let me see. Yeah, here's a smart plug one for $20,000 and two master opponent points. I guess it just depends on the type of stuff they find, right? Samsung Galaxy S25 remote in the mobile phones category, $50,000. Lexmark also was involved in the process here, so they got 20,000 for that. So if you're good at it, yeah, get a team, and I guess you can sign up for the automotive one, which is going to happen in Japan in January. So get your team ready to go and start hitting up some some infotainment systems or whatever inside of, or get yourself a nice Tesla. I don't know if I don't know if the one in Japan will have a Tesla to give away, but they did for the one in Vancouver. They tend to have one in Vancouver, so you can go check those out. Mm-mm. See, anything else interesting here? Philips Hue Bridge got hit a lot for IoT stuff, so yeah, they're. I don't know who's paying the bounty or whatever it is, the prize money for those things, but yeah, Home Assistant Green, another $40,000 there. Compass Security. Dev Core Intern Program, QNAP, yeah, TS453E, Network Attached Storage category. Okay, Philips Hue Bridge, another $40,000. Yeah, okay. Ooh, WhatsApp, zero click remote code execution. Ooh, $1 million. Jeez. Okay. Holy crap. That's the biggest one I think I've seen so far. That's amazing. $1 million for an RCE and WhatsApp. Oof, not good to be Facebook or Meta in this case. Um, My guess is that they paid these out because this could be worth something to the underground, and they want to pay in such a way so that this stuff won't get leaked, or you're getting a lot of okay, so or if this person has like a Twitter or something like that, because I'd love to see the write-ups or the blog posts for these things. So, let's see. I'm never not going to call it Twitter.com. So, Eugene Chen. Okay. I live for myself and I answer to nobody. Okay. Good for you, I guess. Not followed by anyone you're following. Okay. Uh, Person maybe on other social media, but they do have a social media presence on Twitter or X in this case. Yeah, $1 million. Wow. Zero click remote code execution. So zero click remote code execution would be like I send you a message, you don't even have to read it, and it's going, WhatsApp will do something with it. Like try to, run whatever was in the message itself. So, damn, that is impressive. I look forward to the write. I hope that this write up will come out. That'd be pretty cool. You got to know the WhatsApp team is probably shitting themselves right now because this came in on Thursday at 1500. So they've had some interesting discussions today about that. Hopefully they fixed it by then, but we'll see. Yeah, that was the biggest one I saw. So you can watch a live stream of this attempt here. Oh, that's cool. So they have a YouTube live stream. Oh, here's the pwn2own. Okay. Um, I'll put this link up in here. It's a 4 minute, 10-second video of somebody attempting to, well, not attempting, I guess they did, didn't they? Let me see. Did they actually make the attempt? It's targeting. Yes. Oh, it says targeting. Hmm. Maybe they didn't make it, or maybe they did, and this is the attempt. Go look.
Awareness here at Trend Micro's Zero Day Initiative. Welcome to day 3 of pwn2own Ireland 2025. We have had 2 fantastic days of pwnage. We have awarded almost $800,000 for 56 unique 0 days, and we've seen some amazing work, including yesterday an exploit of the Samsung Galaxy, which brings us to today, which is our second attempt at the Samsung Galaxy. With us is Interrupt Labs, and you guys are from England, right? From England, and they will be targeting the Samsung Galaxy S25. If they
Okay.
succeed, they will win $50,000, 5 Master of Pwn points, and of course, the Samsung Galaxy itself. It is pwn2own. You pwn it, you own it. So I've been told that
Okay.
this will not take a lot of time, but if successful, it will reveal some very interesting things that they take over on the phone. So, gentlemen, whenever you're all ready, go ahead and get us started. Okay, so he has 3 attempts. Each attempt lasts 10 minutes. The attempts have to be within 30 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, this is a one-click exploit as well. So you as a user, you would click a link like in an instant message or on a website, something along those lines, something out of an email.
I think this cable's working.
Uh-oh.
Make sure the cable works or doesn't work.
Stymied by a cable. That would be rough.
Hussein is there trying to find the right click. Okay, now click it. Oh, there we go. Now that'll link to his Interrupt Labs website where they're able to push down whatever they need to take over the system. And if successful, they tell me they're turning on location services as well as the camera. So quite an interesting privacy thing.
I feel like Chandler on Friends. Get there faster.
Okay, so it is working. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay, so let's see the screen and see what we can show. Okay, we want to make sure there's no sensitive information. So yes, they've taken over the phone and now showing everyone. Congratulations. That is our location here in Cork, Ireland, as well as a close-up of the people. Why don't you? Oh, never mind. So that is fantastic. Now what happens next is they're going to go off into a private room, what we call disclosure room, and provide us all of the details of what they just did. Once we confirm it's a real exploit and that it's not a duplicate or anything, we'll bring in Samsung and immediately disclose the bug to Samsung. Then they have 90 days to create it. So if you're a Galaxy user, don't worry. A fix is coming. Samsung is going to start working on it immediately, and that'll be it. Hey, we've had a great time here at Pwn2own Ireland 2025, but we're not done. We have one more live stream left to go, and that'll be at 3 o'clock local time. And
okay, so that gives you an idea on how the process works. Let me see, they didn't post that other one, that live stream, just the one of the Samsung S25. Oh, they did a live stream attempt of one or more of these. So here's the full list of whatever. If you're interested in seeing somebody do that, I can't guarantee it's going to be exciting, but somebody will attempt to also do a Samsung S25 Galaxy and a Home Assistant Green in the smart home category for that, and then a couple of folks up here that will do the Lexmark printers and target Samsung Galaxy S25. So it must be easy to do the Samsung S25s. It must be a bunch of cameras or location services or what have you. So um, sensing a theme there. Okay, so here's another live stream attempt with Sonos, Philips Hue Bridge, Home Assistant Green, and the Canon printers. So you get a good idea of what happens here. They say a potential up to $2 million, including our largest single prize for a zero click in WhatsApp for $1 million. Sorry, $2 million, $1 million for the WhatsApp. That's crazy. In case you missed it, you can see okay, so this is the 19-minute version, drawing for order. Okay, so you can go and check out some of what's going on at Pwn2own. Looks like it's really poor lighting in there, which I need a full screen, but I would get bored and I'd want to go see Cork, Ireland. I wouldn't want to be sitting inside all day, but that's just me. Anyway, well, I'm going to go and get ready for dinner. It's a little shorter than normal, but, I did have a lot of stuff to talk about, and I didn't want to get really deep into anything code related or whatever with the weekend coming on. I'll be back on Tuesday. Mr. Becker, Ms. Berlin will be with me, so we'll have some stuff to talk about, maybe have some maybe some updates on the Pwn2own stuff, if you will. There's some additional bits here on YouTube if you want to go check out. Okay, don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, one day live stream for 2021. Okay, yeah. So they have a handful of stuff here for 2025 if you wanted to follow up. Oh yeah, so they've got some content for Pwn2own setups and things like that. So if you're interested, you can go and check out all of those things. Looks like as of 2 hours ago, they were wrapping things up. So then maybe there's you can listen to what they did overall. But yeah, if your company was a Samsung company or the Green Hub, Philips Hub or whatever, they'll be in contact with you. So yeah, have a good weekend. And take care, get outside, maybe get some sunlight, some fresh air, and you can take your computer out there too if you wanted to, and just sit outside. If you're hacking on things. But yeah, have a good weekend, and we'll see you all on Tuesday. Okay, take care now. Bye.